Can you imagine a queen who once ruled all of Egypt, known not just for her beauty but for her intellect and cunning? Picture a ruler, shrouded in mystery, possessing an allure that transcends physical beauty. Her name is Cleopatra, a name that echoes through history, not merely for her reputed beauty, but for her sharp intellect and political acumen. The stories about her extraordinary beauty have been greatly exaggerated, and while it's true she was not devoid of charm, it was her mind that truly set her apart. She was a cunning linguist, speaking a myriad of languages, a skill that gave her an edge in political negotiations. Her charisma was such that she could captivate a room with her presence and her words. She was a woman who used her intellect and charisma to navigate a world dominated by men, to become a powerful and influential ruler. This was Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt. Born in 69 BC, Cleopatra came from a lineage of Greek rulers known as the Ptolemaic dynasty. This wasn't an ordinary family, but a line of rulers who had held sway over Egypt since the days of Alexander the Great. Cleopatra was born into a world of opulence and intrigue, where political power was often won through cunning and strategy rather than birthright. Her early education was steeped in the traditions of her Greek heritage, yet Cleopatra was a standout among her peers. She was the first of her dynasty to learn the Egyptian language, a move that won her the adoration of her subjects and set her apart from her predecessors. She was not just a ruler, she was one with the people she led. The political environment of Egypt during Cleopatra's youth was a turbulent one. The Ptolemaic dynasty was riddled with infighting and power struggles. It was a world where alliances were as fluid as the Nile, and betrayal was as common as the desert sand. Amidst this chaos, Cleopatra emerged as a beacon of strength and intelligence. At the tender age of 18, Cleopatra found herself sharing the throne with her younger brother. But the young queen was not content to be a co-regent. She was ambitious and more politically astute than her brother. She was well aware of the intricacies of the political landscape and knew how to navigate its treacherous waters. Through a combination of strategic alliances and political maneuvering, Cleopatra soon overshadowed her brother. She was more than just a queen. She was a force to be reckoned with. Her charisma, intelligence, and political savvy enabled her to consolidate her power. She was no longer a co-regent. She was the queen. Cleopatra's ascent to power was not just a story of political maneuvering. It was a testament to her strength, her intelligence, and her sheer force of will. She was a woman in a man's world, and she knew how to play the Game of Thrones. Cleopatra's life took a dramatic turn when she met Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in Rome. It was in 52 BC, in the heart of Alexandria, that these two iconic figures of history first crossed paths. Cleopatra, the young and ambitious queen of Egypt, met Julius Caesar, the Roman general whose reputation preceded him. Their meeting was not accidental. Cleopatra, a shrewd and calculating leader, saw in Caesar an opportunity to strengthen her position and secure the future of her kingdom. She needed a powerful ally, and who better than the man who held Rome and much of the known world in his iron grip? Theirs was a relationship that was as much about politics as it was about passion. Caesar was bewitched by Cleopatra's intelligence and charm, and she, in turn, saw in him a man who could help her achieve her ambitions. They formed an alliance, a partnership that would have far-reaching consequences for both Egypt and Rome. Enter Mark Antony, a man of power, influence, and ambition. In the wake of Julius Caesar's death, Cleopatra found herself drawn to another Roman, Mark Antony. A man of equal charisma and political acumen, Antony was a co-leader of Rome following Caesar's demise, and his alliance with Cleopatra was as strategic as it was passionate. Their relationship was a cocktail of romance and power play. Cleopatra, with her intoxicating beauty and sharp intellect, enchanted Antony. For his part, Antony was captivated by Cleopatra's allure and the prospect of wielding power over Egypt. The bond they formed was not just based on personal affinity, but also political pragmatism. Together, they dreamt of a united Rome and Egypt, a dream they believed was within their grasp. Mark Antony and Cleopatra's alliance was a beacon of hope for a better future. They imagined a world where Rome and Egypt were not rivals but partners sharing power and prosperity. This dream was not just an idle fantasy, it was a vision they actively worked towards. They threw lavish feasts, hosted grand spectacles, and even formed a political and military alliance known as the Donations of Alexandria, where Antony granted Cleopatra and her children various eastern lands and titles. Their love story was one for the ages, a tale of two rulers entwined in a dance of power and passion. However, their relationship was far from a fairy tale. It was fraught with political intrigue, warfare, and betrayal. Their dream of ruling Rome and Egypt together was a threat to many, particularly to Antony's fellow Roman leader, Octavian, who would later become the first Roman emperor, Augustus. Their grand vision for a united Rome and Egypt, their mutual ambition, and their passionate love affair made them a target. Their enemies were many, their challenges insurmountable. The dream that had once seemed within their grasp began to slip away. But their dreams of power and glory were not to be. Their tale, while tragic, is a testament to their ambition and the lengths they were willing to go for love and power. It's a story that continues to captivate us even 2,000 years later. In the end, Cleopatra's ambitions led to her downfall. The stage was set for a grand showdown, a war that would forever change the course of history. Cleopatra and Mark Antony found themselves up against the formidable Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. This was a war not just for power, but for the very soul of Rome and Egypt. As the battle lines were drawn, Antony and Cleopatra commanded a formidable fleet and a loyal army. But Octavian, cunning and ruthless, was not to be underestimated. He swayed the Roman Senate, turning them against Antony, painting him as a traitor bewitched by the Egyptian queen. The stage was set, the die was cast. The battle raged at Actium, a naval confrontation that would seal the fate of Antony and Cleopatra. Despite their best efforts, their forces were defeated. Antony, believing false reports of Cleopatra's death, fell on his own sword, choosing to join his love in the afterlife. When Cleopatra learned of Antony's death, her heart broke. She was captured by Octavian, but she would not let him parade her in Rome as a trophy of war. In a final act of defiance, Cleopatra chose her own path. Legend tells us she smuggled a venomous asp in a basket of figs and let the serpent bite her, choosing death over dishonor. In her death, she remained a queen, forever remembered as a symbol of resistance and dignity. Thus ended the reign of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. She had been a queen, a lover, a mother, and a ruler who etched her name in the annals of history with her courage, her charm, and her indomitable spirit. Her story is one of passion and power, of love and war, of ambition and tragedy. Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, was no more. Yet, her legend continues to live on, echoing through the ages, a testament to her extraordinary life and her unforgettable reign. Yet Cleopatra's story did not end with her death. Her legacy, as enigmatic as the queen herself, continues to resonate through the ages. Cleopatra has endured as a figure of fascination, her life serving as a canvas for countless interpretations in art and literature. She's been immortalized in the works of Shakespeare, painted by the greatest artists of every era, and brought to life on the silver screen by Hollywood's elite. Her influence extends beyond the arts. She is celebrated as a feminist icon, a woman who wielded power in a man's world, her intelligence and charm as potent as any army. Cleopatra's story is one of ambition, passion, and resilience, a narrative that has inspired countless generations of women to aspire, to strive, and to dare. Cleopatra may have been the last queen of Egypt, but her story continues to captivate us even today.